What is up, you heathens and demons, sinners and saints, blasphemous, beautiful bastards? What's up, Kent Hovind CPA? Yeah, man, my Lions are doing good. I'm feeling my Lions right now. Week one, I was a little sketchy about my Super Bowl pick. First year in the history of my life I've ever picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl. And feeling pretty good about that pick right now. I ain't gonna lie. How you doing, mate? Lopin, whatever the fuck he calls himself, stopped by earlier to talk his shit. Talking about my liberal thought bubble, and I'm like, dude, I'm not a liberal. I'm like a domestic terrorist now, according to the president. He's supposed to be signing the executive order, the illegal ass executive order, at some point today. I'm anti-racist. I'm anti-capitalist, anti-fascist, all the things. Yeah. Atheist. He's going after atheists and liberals and lefties and I mean, it's going to be really hard to prove unconstitutional cases. I think even like public defenders could probably handle this one. But I don't know. We do live in Trump's America. Welcome to Trump's America. Land of chaos. Home of insane people. So, shooting after shooting now. Day after day. We have a president labeling his political opponents as domestic terrorists. We have a president who seems hell-bent on just breaking the Constitution in half. Freedom of religion is freedom from religion. You don't get to try to lump in atheists as part of your domestic terrorist designation. We have a president that's going after half the country. We have a president who wants to be a dictator, an authoritarian, a king. People are wondering why he's sending like troops to Portland, Oregon. No Kings 2 is coming up. I think maybe a week, maybe a couple weeks. And it's going to be a big ass fucking protest, expected to be the biggest in history. If you want to know why he's putting this shit out there, he wants to intimidate people into protesting his pedophile-loving rule. And at this point, when it comes to the Epstein files, I think we just have to simply ask, what is in these fucking files that Trump is so terrified of? That he's getting his party to break their oaths. Mike Johnson unwilling to swear in the last signature needed to release the Epstein files. Already talk of moving the Epstein files to a top secret designation. What are in these files that Donald Trump feels so desperate not to release them? I've tried to be fair with the Republicans here lately. I've tried to be fair, and and I mean it when I say everybody that covered up for the pedophiles should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That includes the Biden administration. But I truly think that the Biden administration would have caved a long time ago if they were facing the pressure to release the Epstein files that this administration is. Biden would have caved under that pressure. immediately. So I guess you can give Trump his props there. But we have to ask, like, what is in these files that this dude is so terrified of? And why does he seem hell-bent on escalating the political violence in America instead of doing anything to put a dent in it? Now, I had a pretty good conversation with Puff. I believe it was Friday when no Republicans showed up to challenge me. They're usually chirping in the side chats, but when it comes time to me actually have a room to where they can come and challenge me and try to have a conversation, nobody showed up. But I had a pretty good conversation with Puff where he tried to pretty much convince me that the FBI narrative is legit, or that wasn't so much it, that Tyler Robinson was the shooter. I'm not convinced. And the thing is, with the Charlie Kirk shooting, it remains very, very odd, kind of the radio silence around it. And even with the ICE shooting, kind of just really suspect. Especially when you could put it into context of, like, what I would call normal massacres, like we had last weekend. Right-wing nuts going fucking crazy all across America. I think there was 3. I know two were ex-military. One was an ex-military nut job who had some serious fucking psychological issues going with this bar in North Carolina. One is, we'll be looking at that story a little bit. One is what happened here in Michigan. And I'm pretty sure I've been to the town that it happened in. I think I might have had a conversation with a Mormon from there on my channel, but maybe not. But I'm pretty sure I've been in the town. And I know I've talked to a couple Mormons from that town. Mormons are fairly prominent in certain areas of Michigan. Seventh-day Adventists are prominent in a lot of areas of Michigan. We have the NIFB up north. Here in Battle Creek, we have a Baptist representation and a Scientology representation. But you don't see the Scientologists much. And there's Mormons. And there's Amish. Crazy shit. Fucking weird town. But with these shootings, you kind of see the normal things happen. You kind of see people knowing and talking about the people involved, right? Like, still to this day, I mean, I know right-wingers want to just, like, land hard on the fact that Tyler Robinson was a leftist. And I'll even grant that with the little bit of information the FBI has released, it's probably more likely he leans liberal to left. But still, I think it's probably not. But the weird thing is we really don't honestly know. We still haven't heard nothing from the family. We haven't heard much from friends. No, interviews on primetime TV with friends of Tyler Robinson. Like, none of the normal stuff. Stuff that we're already seeing with these most recent rounds of shootings. And when I say normal massacres, I'm concentrating on the massacre here because it's a massacre. It's sad. These things shouldn't happen. We should do something about this. We should have done something about this a long time ago. All those years, the left has been advocating to do something about the gun violence in America, while the right has sat on their thumbs taking the money of the NRA. And somehow we're to blame. Does the left do violence? Yes, of course. Everybody has their nut jobs, their homicidal psychopaths. Every group has them, unfortunately. But we all know the numbers. We all know the statistics. We all know who does the vast amount of gun violence in America, of political violence in America. And this is Trump's America. We have a definite ratcheting up on both sides, I'll grant, of political violence in America. That falls on the president. What are the president's policies outside of trying to take away Americans' free speech, which he's not going to be able to do legally? I mean, the vast majority of these people are going to be able to beat these cases. And there's no double jeopardy. You can't take it to the Supreme Court every fucking time, so your buddies on the Supreme Court can do what you want them to do. Like, it's, and then you're going to have lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit of American citizens, nonviolent American citizens that you're trying to lock up and brand as terrorists. I'm tired of being poor. Please come for me. Please. I need a good lawsuit because I'm poor. $50 million, I think, sounds like a roundabout number for infringing on my First Amendment rights. What do you think? 50 million? Maybe shoot for 100 and settle at 50? I mean, this is Trump's America. Trump owns all of this, even when it's left-wingers doing it. You think left-wingers aren't going to fucking lash out when you're trying to brand them as fucking terrorists, the enemy within? You think that they're not going to lash out? In that? The president is the president of the United fucking States. Why are Republicans such pussies to call out blatant criminality? Pussies. Little bitches. Cock bearers of an orange man. But let's get into this shit. I'm sitting here getting all worked up, and I got so much to look at today. We're gonna start with Jack. I ain't even gonna try to pronounce his last name. Dude puts on a great show, and I love like young people being involved with politics, being passionate about their politics, even when it's on the right, as long as you're not a racist fucking bigot. CJ Cox.
At least 2 dead and 8 others wounded after shooting and fire at Michigan church. What we know, at least 2 people were killed and 8 others were wounded in a shooting
it might be up
at
to
the
4
Church
now.
of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, according to police. Authorities say a gunman rammed a vehicle to the front of the church during a large service, began shooting, and then intentionally set a fire that grew into a large blaze. Police believe they may find additional victims when it is safe to enter the building. Officers exchanged fire with the gunman and killed him. According to police, he was identified as a 40-year-old Michigan man. Trump, upon learning about the shooting, took to Truth Social and posted, "I have been briefed of the horrendous shooting that took place at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The FBI was immediately on the scene and will be leading the federal investigation and providing full support to state and local officials. The suspect is dead, but there is still a lot to learn. This appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted, as we always do. In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. This epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately."
All right, so he doesn't say atheist, but target attack on Christians. I mean, do most Christians consider Mormons Christians? Let's be real. I mean, CJ Cox thinks they're like a cult. They certainly started as a cult. They certainly still act very cult-like. But so do Christians. And it turns out, like, dude, homeboy is a Trump supporter. Homeboy is a Christian that just really, really hates Mormons. And here we have the president of the United States jumping the fucking gun because he wants to sign an executive order making like half of America domestic terrorists. Like, what the fuck? How can anybody be chill with that? You know, thankfully, I can't see what my dad's saying about it anymore. Because, man, I'd be fucking bummed out probably. But this epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. Then let's do something about the guns that is causing this epidemic. The vast amounts of weapons of war that's on our streets when we have so many crazy fucking people. So many batshit insane people in this fucking country. Doesn't make any sense. Just the pharmacy. I already knew that pharmacy. Let's continue.
Well, clearly Trump doesn't actually care about the epidemic of gun violence ending. Donald Trump won't do anything to address it. He'll keep taking bucks from the NRA. The right refuses to take actual action because they just want to use this as an opportunity to further.
Yeah, and you know, I had never even thought of that connection, Robin, until earlier when somebody at work actually pointed it out. Like, she thought of it immediately. You know, Trumper goes and attacks Mormons when Charlie Kirk is killed in Utah by a family that's full of Mormons. But no, it does appear like this dude, and we'll be getting into it because, again, we're actually getting shit that we would see normally in these situations. We're getting information coming in already that we usually normally start to get in these situations that we have never gotten in the Charlie Kirk shooting, ever. It's still just fucking this really weird silence where a lot of people seem to have just disappeared. A lot of people that knew this dude just seems to have disappeared. I don't fucking know how to explain it. It's like maybe the rapture happened and it was just all of the people that knew Tyler Robinson were raptured and nobody else, and that's why nobody noticed.
Their political agenda, because Donald Trump put out a list of 7 different buckets that you could fall into that he claims to be anti-American. If you are anti-capitalist, you can be prosecuted. If you are anti-Christian, they can go after you. If you are anti-Trump, essentially, in their view of anti-American, Pam Bondi says you are a threat to the United States. This is about furthering the agenda when the truth really behind this shooter's beliefs, this alleged assailant's beliefs, as we know it, are coming out right now. And it doesn't really align with Donald Trump's view of the world.
I'm not sure about that, Robin. I'm not sure about that.
On Thomas Jacob Sanford's property, the man who is the alleged assailant who was killed today, as of June 2025 per Google Maps, the Michigan LDS shooter, note, if we don't do this kind of research, Trump and his disinformation machine will make this guy into a left-wing trans immigrant.
And that's so true. That's the day and age we live in now. As soon as these fucking shootings happen, the leftists in that area or the liberals need to go to the location of the shooter and see whatever they can find out, because it's automatically going to be far left radical transgender immigrant, or maybe a black person. One of the two. It's one of the two.
As you can see there is a Trump sign. Call to activism wrote, major breaking. The suspected Michigan shooter has been identified as Iraq War veteran Thomas Sanford. Sanford was a U.S. Marine who served in Iraq from 2004 to 2008. He was white. He's not.
You know, actually, Robin, I need to find out about that, because that would like probably, you know, if he watched his wife like get sucked into the Mormon cult, that would probably be a reason to start hating them, right?
Trans, he died at the scene. Once again, we see an image of people saying that the Michigan church shooter, Thomas Jacob Sanford, had a Trump sign on his property. As you can see there above the stop sign, that is a Donald Trump sign.
Yeah, so definitely a Trump supporter. And let me tell you, there's a lot of them here in Michigan, all over the goddamn place. It's fucking insanity. I fear for my life in these fucking days and age, in the times we live in. You know, like, it's fucking like, you know, when is the Gestapo coming for me? When is one of these, like, crazy right-wingers that fucking hate my guts going to feel emboldened enough to try to take a shot at me? You know, luckily I'm kind of a hermit.
Now, I think it is important to note, because I have been so fucking furious with the way that we have politicized shootings in the wake of Charlie Kirk's killing, the way that the right has used this as an opportunity to try to attack and strip the humanity out of an...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he went there. Like that's, I mean, I don't know, but like the next thing I'm watching is this guy who was running in that area for office and had actually canvassed the guy's house and had talked to him like a week before the shooting, maybe. And the dude was like espousing Mormon hatred. Like he just fucking hated Mormons. But that'll be next. And I'm not going to watch all of this. I just wanted to kind of get through the story so we can talk about it.
Already marginalized group in trans Americans. This is not me saying that Donald Trump is responsible. Which, do you know what? I do think that Donald Trump, of course, is responsible for elevating tensions, getting us to a place in America where people respond with violence because it is the only thing that they think can break the system. Because Donald Trump sends a violent mob to the Capitol and says, hey, I didn't get the result that I wanted. How about you attack Nancy Pelosi? He mocks at her husband being attacked. Donald Trump encourages political violence. I am not saying today's events, the events today, should be only rested on the shoulders of Donald Trump. What I am saying right now is that it is so disingenuous for the right.
Yeah, that is kind of true, Robin. It'd be hard to argue that she's the one in the cult, but maybe she's a MAGA too. Yeah, like right now, the most dominant cult in the world is MAGA. Like I think without a doubt, the most dominant and the most dangerous cult in the world is MAGA.
Right, to jump immediately to the blame game. And it is our responsibility, unfortunately, to show these connections to Trump.
All right, and that was the point I wanted to end on this one. So let's come back up here for a second. Yeah, so ultimately, all of this shit falls on Donald Trump. All like if Joe Biden was still in office, and to put the microphone a little bit away from my mouth, it seems like I'm popping. If Joe Biden was still in office and all of this violence was happening, the fucking right wing would be losing their fucking mind. Blaming it on Joe Biden, but it's not Joe Biden, it's Donald Trump, so they're losing their fucking mind, blaming it on us, the left wing, when we do the least amount of violence in America. The least. We do violence, but it's the least amount of violence. Not to dismiss the violence that we do, but it's the least amount of violence. The least amount. And like they're trying to talk about like, you know, attacks on ICE officers as the uptick in left-wing extremist violence. Like, bitch, that's what happens when you send a Gestapo into people's neighborhoods and arrest their neighbors. What did you think was going to happen? That's not left-wing violence. That's every people in America violence telling your Gestapo to get the fuck out of their neighborhoods. That's left and right wing, if you haven't seen the numbers. It's fucking ridiculous. The bullshit and the gaslighting that they try to do to their own people. To their own fucking people. And then get mad because the left wing doesn't fall for it. Like the right wing does. Because the right wing are a bunch of fucking bloodthirsty morons. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. This is what normally happens. You start having people that knew these shooters or had an idea of what their motive might have been, talking to people. That's what normally happens in these situations. And that's why I'm saying there's a few shootings now in Trump's America that don't make any fucking sense. One of them was the assassination on the president himself. Doesn't make any fucking sense. It is not normal. And we're going to look at that later as well. It's not normal what's been happening in this country. And if it's not normal, there's usually a reason why. We need our journalists to be looking for that reason. All right, let's check this interview out.
Hello, everyone. I'm talking to Chris right now, and you contacted me a short time ago, pretty distraught because actually earlier today, you came to the realization that you say that you talked to the person who did this horrible thing in Grambling Township.
I did last week. It was Wednesday or Thursday. I'm running for city council and I'm canvassing, and I had an address on my map that I went to, and I came across a gentleman. He was very friendly, and he had interacted positively with me, and we got out of the vehicle. We started just to talk, and after a short while, the conversation went to the Church of Latter-day Saints, Mormonism, and he just made the position multiple times that Mormons are the Antichrist. And he, in not so many terms, said that several times. He gave me his background, but I just walked away from a person who had some very sharp views about Mormons.
Yeah, so you were just out campaigning for the election in November coming up, I'm assuming?
That is correct.
And so you're just shaking hands, looking to meet people. You come across his door. Have you matched it up? Is it the address the same as this person? Have you looked?
It is, yes. I mean, it is not only the address, but it's also the person that I spoke with. I
mean, imagine that, right? Like, you're running for some small office. Can't remember what he said, but I ran for a small office before. I didn't really try hard to win, and I lost. You could tell I didn't try hard. You know, I was talked into it by the local Dems here, and I didn't really like any of them fuckers. They were all like, I don't know, bastards. So I kind of get it, and you get these lists and you get these addresses, and you know they all kind of blend together, and you're saying the same shit, right? And then a week later, one of those people that you fucking talk to on one of those endless days of fucking running these lists happens to like create just like a massacre like we just don't usually see, right? Like so what happened here in Michigan is not something that you usually see. Like, this was a veteran that hated Mormons that I don't know, like nobody really seems to know what happened. There was a bang, right? I'm not going to show that interview because we have so many interviews of people talking about what fucking happened. Like normally, right? Normal shit. This is what's normal. Lady inside the church heard a bang, a lot of smoke. So what appears to have happened is the motherfucker rams his truck into the front doors, gets out, throws some kind of explosive device in the fucking church, turns around and starts opening fire at people in the fucking parking lot. Right? Like, just fucking insanity. Place goes up in a fucking inferno. I still don't think we know how many people got caught in that inferno. They can't get to the basement. Like, fucking insane. This is Trump's America. This is the America that Donald Trump has made in like 9 months. It's beyond, nobody thought it would be this bad. No, but not even the worst of us that just hate Trump thought that he could possibly do this much damage this fast. But he did. And you blind motherfuckers refuse to see it. And you think you're going to win this shit. You're all for him locking up those libtards that you can't defeat. You know, your hero, Charlie Kirk, he never won a single fucking debate in his life. All he did was deflect. It's a fucking basic ass debate strategy that anybody can do that pretty much guarantees you'll never win a fucking debate. You guys can't win debates. Like these motherfuckers that complain in my side chat, and then when I have an open room for them to come in, guess where they are? Not in my open room. They can chirp in the side chat, but when it comes to actually time to fucking defend their positions, they can't because it's undefendable. Unless you're like a fucking Nazi. Unless you're a fucking fascist. And that's the truth of it. I'm tired of sugarcoating this shit for these fucking demons. Getting so up in their fifis over fucking Charlie Kirk and people laughing or celebrating the death of a bigot. But did you see the stories floating around social media about 2/3 of the people at Alligator Alcatraz just straight up disappearing? Did you see those stories? And if you've seen those stories, maybe you should go to the comment section of those stories and look at all the fucking right-wing cult members laughing in glee about alligators eating migrants and brown people, and I mean just the worst shit you're ever gonna fucking see in your life, because these hypocrites don't mean a goddamn thing they say. It's all fake outrage victim mentality so their fucking stupid ass followers can feel better about themselves as they go after their betters. The people that actually do care about gun violence in America. The people that actually do take time to learn facts so they can have these fucking debates. Have these fucking conversations that should be fair, honest conversations. But that's impossible when you're only talking to bad faith interlocutors. Impossible. When the person you're talking to is more than willing to just lie to your face and distort reality and to fucking gaslight reality.
Again, I have a friend in Utah who is involved with the LDS church. I sent him a voice message saying I had a conversation with a person who had very sharp views, and it's just like you come across a lot of different people while you campaign.
Yeah.
And I shared this with him on Friday, and then we had our Sunday dinner, and I ended up seeing a photo. That was the exact guy I spoke to last week.
So you saw the guy, and I'm not gonna, the shooter. You saw his picture on the news or on social media, and what was your first reaction?
Shock. I mean, to have just interacted with a person who, again, he had very sharp views. And when we first started speaking, very positive, we just made just general chit chat. And then he went to his background, how he was a Marine, he had served overseas. And again, I'm going to paraphrase because I'm just going from memory, but he, to start new, had moved out to Utah to plow snow. He then began a relationship with a woman who was in the LDS church. And then the conversation changed to tattoos, which he had a lot of, and how he had to have all his tattoos removed in order to be, for certain religious ceremonies. And it was just a piece where I was very careful how I.
All right. So it does appear that he was in the church at least for a moment and didn't like the fact that he had to remove his tattoos.
Answered because it's one of those things where I did not know what response was going to be acceptable to him. And so it's a case of like, I just wanted to get off the door and away from him.
So you just wanted to be nice and say, okay, have a nice day.
Exactly. And just try to do it the easiest way possible while kind of just walking, one step at a time. And again, when I first started, my daughter was with me. She was in the car because we're, driving from house to house. He was very nice. I mean, he was extremely nice. My daughter has special needs. She reached out to him. He held her hand. He was he talked about his child who had a serious medical concern and how just the care there.
Yep.
For whatever reason, the conversation shifted from chit chat into what are your thoughts about the Church of Latter-day Saints? And again, my cousin.
So this dude just had like a lot of fucking hate for Mormons. And you know what? That used to be like a very common sentiment in this country. In fact, the American government considered the Mormon Church a terrorist organization at one point itself, because the Mormon Church was doing very terrorist shit. Like massacring people on the Oregon Trail and pretending to be Native Americans. I don't think it was the Oregon Trail, but one of them trails that went out west. It was just fucking crazy shit. At one point they wanted to go to war with America because they wanted to be their own kingdom inside of America. Like crazy shit. And there's about 1,000 Mormon jokes I could make, but it wouldn't be the time for it, right? Because nobody deserves to be fucking. I don't even know how you describe this attack. Nobody deserves to be bombed. Nobody deserves to be shot at with AR-15s in a church where they should be safe, where they should be free to praise Joseph Smith for as long as they fucking want. They're not hurting nobody. They're not harming nobody. Nobody deserves that. Today's Mormon church is definitely not the Mormon church I was just talking about. They've had several revelations from their God. I don't even know what to call him. Like, I believe it's Jesus, but could it be one of the aliens? I don't know. Making black people okay now, stuff like that. It's crazy shit. But nobody deserves to be terrorized like that, to be shot up, to have to worry about being shot up. Like, gun violence is so bad in America right now. Like, I don't want to send my kid to school. Is my kid's school going to be next? Is your kid's school going to be next? Is the president going to do anything to calm people down? Or is he going to just keep up with this fucking bullshit? I honestly don't get what right-wingers want from any of this. I fucking don't. I don't understand what they want from any of this. This isn't owning the libs. Oh, I do have this other conversation of the woman. Again, normal shit. Normal shit. We have people talking about what happened. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? All those people at Charlie Kirk, we have nobody talking? Hardly anybody talking? All those phones out. We only have the small amount of footage that we have. This really bogus fucking story from the FBI nobody believes. It's weird shit, man. And it's not the first weird shooting. We had another really weird shooting back during the campaign. Really fucking weird shit. Really weird shit. We're going to get to it. Like, weird shit. But yeah, this lady was inside the church. Kind of hard to understand, but, you know, that's, I mean, a lot of different accents in Michigan. A lot of different accents in Michigan. I'm going to tell you. There's some folks, you just won't understand what the fuck they're saying.
Paula was in that vehicle. You were in that car when the shooting happened. You were inside the church?
I was inside the church.
You were inside the church. So walk me through what happened.
Okay, we went to church. We sat down. We had just gotten done with our sacrament, the sacrament for our meeting. One of our counselors was up speaking, and we heard a big bang and the doors blew. And then everybody rushed out. We went through the church and out through the parking lot. They were trying to get us down to the lake. But the lady that I was trying to help out, she couldn't make it that far, so we got us back up in the parking lot and got us into the Taylor's car. When we got in the cars and we flipped around, and that's when the shooter started shooting at the car. And Brother Taylor is fine. It hit his hand. And then we got over there and we came here, and these nice people let us in, and we've been here since.
I'm so sorry for you to experience something like that. Words will never...
Yeah, man, it's just like terrible shit, man. It's just terrible shit. Nobody deserves to go through that. Nobody. I don't care if it's left wing doing it, if it's right wing doing it. Nobody deserves to go through that shit. We should have done something about this a long time ago. Like, for one, like, we don't need these weapons of war so people can feel like they got a big dick. We don't need them. It makes it very dangerous to have all of these fucking weapons of war on our streets. You talk about, like, law and order. How can you have law and order when your police forces are, like, can be smoked? Right? Like, you know, the only, like, saving grace from it all right now is we do have a tyrannical government that's going to find it really fucking hard to go house to house to arrest a lot of people. Because everybody's got fucking guns. And what do you think is going to fucking happen? Oh, my God. So this is the other shooting there was actually 3, but I actually haven't heard much about the casino shooting. So I got to kind of still look into that one. But this was the one that happened in North Carolina. Another military veteran who just seems to have, like, probably long-term PTSD that's really turned into a lot of serious mental issues. And it seems like people should have probably been aware of it, you know.
Then there was another awful shooting over the weekend. This was in Southport, North Carolina. And if you've ever been to Southport, it's a beautiful, beautiful sea town. 3 people were killed there. 8 people were injured. It's a beautiful town, a coastal town right along the water there. It's about 30 miles from Wilmington, North Carolina. It's the kind of town, literally, I've been there once. When I was there, it reminded me of, like, the kind of place that you would see in a Hallmark movie, not the kind of place that this would have happened. Authorities say it was a premeditated attack. And what's different about this mass
shooting, it might help if I share the screen. I keep going back up there.
Unlike anyone I've ever covered before, is the mass shooter actually was shooting from a boat, according to police. He shot at a waterfront bar where people were eating and drinking and just enjoying the weekend. Suddenly this...
So, you know, I never heard police say targeted attack with the Michigan shooting. The president said that. But with this shooting, it is the first, like, you just don't hear that language very often, targeted attack. But it does appear like this dude had some kind of, like, mental issues with this particular bar for a while. I think this is what I saw where it was talking about it, but it might not be. I know that like this guy he's a good reporter, but he slants right wing, so sometimes he pisses me off. But I'm pretty sure listening to this, he really gave me a lot of facts on this shooter, because a lot of what people are talking about is the Michigan shooter.
Boat comes up. It's a center console boat, and the suspect started shooting from the boat.
The incident location where this occurred, the American Fish Company, which I've already indicated to you was quite literally the backdrop for the movie Safe Haven, had live music going on last night. There is an outdoor deck which faces the water, and there was a lot of people out there last night just enjoying live music under the stars. The thread that connects everyone who's a victim in this case to this point just appears to be a love of having a good time and enjoying all that Southport has to offer.
Reports came in rapidly of a boat.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of lone wolves can be anybody that just acts alone. But yeah, there is that terminology within the extremist groups that go off on their own and just do shit, especially in the acceleration groups. It's more times than not with the acceleration groups, you'd get lone wolf actors. So yeah, I'm definitely not ruling out any kind of, it probably does have some kind of like, right-wing militia connections. I just don't know that as fact, and that would only be assumption on my part. What does seem to be fact is that this guy has like serious mental issues. I don't know what the fuck he saw in war, but it fucked his brain up, and he's been known for this kind of shit for a while. Not for shooting up people, but like especially going after this particular bar. Like he sued them twice because he claimed they brainwashed him. Like just crazy shit.
Sitting in the waterway. Reports of a subject shooting multiple patrons of the establishment.
So the suspect in that North Carolina case is named Nigel Edge. We are told that he's 40 years old. He's from a place called Oak Island, which it's my understanding is not very, very far away. Police did not elaborate on why they know that the attack was targeted, but they say it is clear that it was a targeted attack. They said that Edge was on a small boat, again, close to the shore, right along the area lined with bars and restaurants when he started shooting. And then he actually took off on the boat. He went on the run in the boat, and the Coast Guard spotted him. This was roughly about 30 minutes later, according to investigators. It was the Coast Guard who spotted him at a public boat ramp.
Last night, our witnesses that were on the scene observed a white center console boat travel south or southwest, leaving the area. Our Coast Guard partners were patrolling along with our sheriff's office and encountered a boat down at the 55th Street boat access in Oak Island. The officers got out and made contact with Mr. Edge, and as a result of that, during the investigation, he was detained and taken into custody.
So he is now charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. It was 5 counts of attempted first-degree murder and 5 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. Unlike the situation in Michigan, he is alive, and obviously more charges could be added. I would suspect more charges likely will be added. Police say that he used an assault rifle. And again, like the situation in Michigan, authorities say that Edge is a combat veteran. They say that he was injured in the line of duty and suffers from PTSD.
We understand this suspect identifies.
If I'm remembering correctly, he will get into, I'm pretty sure he's going to get into the kind of details of, the extents to his PTSD, because it's quite extensive. It's been going on for quite a while, at least 10 years. Again, this is like a red flag that, like, not to say like, war veterans shouldn't have guns, but people that have mental disease should not have guns. Like, we need to do something about this. We've got to do something about it instead of pointing fingers. But again, it's really not been the only the finger pointing the left has done is pointing at the right, saying, you're not doing anything. Help us. Because they're not doing anything. They keep taking fucking money because money from the NRA is more important than your children or your own safety. It's disgusting.
It's a combat veteran. He self-identifies injured in the line of duty is what he's saying. He suffers from PTSD. We want to point those facts out. But again, the bottom line is that I want to assure our community that we feel like we do have our suspect in custody.
So police say that Edge was known to hang out at the pier and had filed, this is bizarre, but he had filed these lawsuits against the town and police department over the last few years. And it seems like he was well known to authorities, sort of like one of those guys that, you know, had been causing trouble with these lawsuits, and police officers had seen him around. According to the New York Post, one lawsuit filed against a church. He filed it against a church claiming that they were behind a civil conspiracy. That's the way he phrased it, a civil conspiracy by the LGBTQ community and white supremacist pedophiles to kill him.
Yeah, Robin says the largest cause of death among vets is suicide. We don't even try to protect them. No, we don't. And this president just cut most of the resources going to the VA, which is the only help that so many veterans in this country get, right? Like Trump is just, again, he's harming so many people that voted for him, that these people are going to feel it, and they will turn. There's no putting it on Biden, because when Biden was around, they had a VA, and you know that they could take the bus to, and they can get their medications, even though there was a bunch of bullshit with the VA that we need to fucking fix. At least they had the VA. A lot of them don't even have that no more.
Because he is a straight man. That's what he put into the lawsuit. He also filed a lawsuit against a hospital, accusing it of being part of a conspiracy launched by LGBTQ white supremacists who were out to get him because he survived their attack in Iraq. Again, those are the things that he put in the lawsuit, so it sort of shows his mental state. Both of those lawsuits were dismissed. And this is another really strange element to this. Edge was seen on the red carpet with American Idol star Kelly Pickler at the Country Music Awards back in 2012. Yes, he went to the Country Music Awards with Kelly Pickler in 2012. Apparently, like as an injured veteran through some program, he was able to go with her. And he also sued Kelly Pickler. This is according to TMZ, and claimed that she had tried to poison him. This suit came over a decade after he was her date at the music award.
Yeah, so I mean, like 10 years ago, he goes on this thing with Kelly Pickler, who I don't know who that is. If she's country, I don't listen to country. And even back then, you know, like his shit was fucked up, and he thought she had tried to poison him with a glass of Jim Beam. It's a really sad story, and it's a sad story that happens to a lot of our veterans. And I'm not sitting here saying that, oh shit, we just had 2 really bad fucking shootings caused by war veterans. We need to take away the First Amendment rights and the Second Amendment rights of war veterans. We need to label war veterans as domestic terrorists. Like, no sane person would do that. Yet, that's what the President of the United States is doing. It's fucking crazy. And that was the weekend. But let's get back to Charlie Kirk, because that shooting was strange. The shooting was strange. And even, like, again, it's mostly Trump's people. And even the big ones are starting to talk about it. Even the Joe Rogans of the world. Gosh, you know, it's got to suck to lose Joe Rogan. We don't want him. But, you know, it's got to suck to lose him. All right, let's check this one out. This is it's just the strangeness of this Charlie Kirk shooting permeating even, like, you know, the broad sphere.
Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. We got some weirdness going on. Now, it's not to disrespect the whole situation, but you shouldn't just stop when you hear there's some weirdness going on with the whole Charlie Kirk passing, the way that he passed, the story that they've given us, and the things that are arising bit by bit. And it's not just wild personalities on X that are noticing this. Joe Rogan's noticing it as well. And he brings up a bunch of very good points when it comes to the weirdness around this thing. Now, I made a video just a little while ago on my second channel, and I titled it, Charlie Kirk has reached JFK levels of weirdness. It's already there, where people are looking at the bullet, and they're looking at this, and the trajectory, and did it come this way? Is it that way? Is there a trap door? You know, who is this Tyler Robinson kid? They're looking at...
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of weird shit, shit that I haven't even talked about. You know, the fact that this is supposedly Tyler Robinson's grandfather's gun, right? Which is supposedly a 30-06 Mauser from World War I. Okay. Yet it looks like a brand new gun. What the fuck's up with that? What the fuck's up with that? Doesn't look like no World War I gun. Something strange there. How about the fact that Tyler Robinson's saying that he wasn't the shooter? Not only was he not the shooter, but he's never even been to that fucking university. Well, I thought he confessed. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. How about the fact it turns out Tyler Robinson was never suicidal? What? See, a lot of weird shit going on with this shooting. And this dude ain't wrong. Like, JFK levels of weirdness. Yeah. We're at a JFK level with the Charlie Kirk shooting, without a fucking doubt. People tampering with the crime scene automatically, immediately, as soon as he's fucking shot. Like, what the fuck is that? We have a dude standing up that a lot of people say was part of 9/11, like all these different things. I've never seen any proof to it. But now we can't even talk to the dude because as soon as they pick him up, they find child porn on his phone. So nobody can talk to him? Huh? What? Say what? None of this makes any fucking sense. None of it makes any fucking sense.
All things. And I'm going to show you some footage that people haven't been...
Yeah, maybe, Robin. But that would take away from the antique aspects of it, wouldn't it? The unique aspects of it. Like, this was a unique gun. I don't know. I don't know dick about guns. This is what a whole bunch of right-wing gun nuts are saying. People that do know guns, and they're saying this shit this ain't right. This ain't right.
It's impossible to see with all the commotion, but people have slowed it down, and they're starting to show that there's...
But if I remember right, like, this dude's angle ain't, like, he doesn't know shit about guns either. Like, he's just looking at the Joe Rogan shit, and we're going to watch that for a little bit, and then we're going to move on to another really weird shooting.
Some oddness around the people.
I don't want to stream all day today, but a lot to talk about.
Converging on Charlie when he's in that dire situation. That tragic situation. So I'm going to be showing you guys that, and I'm going to show you Joe Rogan talking about the weirdness because, again, he makes some very good points. So let's play the Rogan clip first, and then let's get into the weirdness surrounding Charlie Kirk.
It might have been World War II then. Maybe I got that part wrong. But no, they were saying World War I, but maybe they got that part wrong in World War II. Because I thought of that myself, because I immediately thought of, like, Thin Red Line. Thin Red Line, I believe, was a World War II movie about the Japan invasion, and they had the 30-06 and they were using the 30-06 in that invasion. So yeah, World War I, I'm not sure.
Again, not to disrespect the situation, but
I'm not watching that video. I'm watching. This is just about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan might talk about it a little bit. I can't remember what he says, but Joe Rogan ain't buying it.
I'm not going to stop thinking and asking questions.
But there are a lot of gun people out there on the right wing saying that it doesn't look like what they're saying it's supposed to be. You know, like this. They said World War I, but probably meant World War II. But like this old ass gun that belonged to a grandfather that was supposed to have like these unique qualities. They just don't see the unique qualities Yeah, of course, like, you can restore a gun. Guns never really go bad. You just gotta, fix certain parts of them. But, and also, again, another point is, unless you're gonna take it to a gunsmith, if it is from that era, if it is a really old gun, unless you're gonna take it to a gunsmith and do a lot of work on it, a lot of work on it, like, that gun is just not gonna be that accurate. But I would have to watch those videos with you guys today for you to understand, because I don't understand, unless I'm listening to them. I don't know gun culture. I got out of gun culture a long time ago in a galaxy far away. Nakasuchi was into guns, and that was a long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Just because there are people who think that you should just stop asking questions. That's not happening. Sorry. Let's go.
Set it up in a way that, like, okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate, right, according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird going on with this.
I know.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what they said the gun was a Mauser 30-06.
All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place, and then he did this at this thing right after. So somehow or another, this guy.
So yeah, it might have been World War II, maybe. I don't know.
Has the state of mind that the moment someone.
But you have to think, if it was grandfather's gun, it was really old gun, right? But yeah, they might have been wrong about World War I. I don't know. I'm not a good guy.
When gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child. Why is that? Well, now you can't interview him.
Right, right.
Right, and because when the internet people start going, how are you at all these different things? Like, what are the odds? Like, if someone ran it through one of the ChatGPT and Perplexity things, like, what are the odds that this guy...
Yeah, like, people got to stop doing that shit with ChatGPT. As far as I understand, it's not really meant for that shit. I hate it when people throw ChatGPT odds at me. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Guy would be at all those different events and be involved, like zero.
This is the guy?
Yeah.
I just like that the pants down part is just insane to me. It's like, why is your dick out, dude? I did it.
Listen, I'm not saying this guy is an...
Yeah, so like this dude right here, supposedly he was at 9/11. He was at all these different events that happened. Supposedly he was well known around this campus, always stirring shit up there. But a lot of people think that this guy has been a part of a lot of quote-unquote black flag operations. I'm not a 9/11 was an inside job kind of dude, never have been. I know people are talking about that shit again. I was always pretty anti-George Bush, but I mean, like, I just don't think George Bush... Now, Dick Cheney government, I could see doing it, but not with George Bush at the head of it. I still, I don't know. I'd have to see, like, solid evidence to ever believe it. But supposedly this dude is a part of, like, a lot of, black flag psyop operations. And then it is really weird that this dude stood up. If it was Tyler Robinson on that roof, a lone wolf, right? And they're still, like, they're not telling you this. We get leaks, but they're not finding any connections to any left-wing groups. Like the people he was online with didn't know anything about this shit. So it's really strange that this dude stood up as soon as Charlie Kirk was shot. It said, I did it, pulled his fucking pants down, said, shoot me. Like, really fucking strange. Shit don't add up. It's just weird, man. And now, to top it all off, the dude was a child fucker and had that shit right on his phone, and they asked him for his phone. He's like, here you go. I'm just saying, man. There's a lot of bullshit in this story. Now, I don't know what the fuck happened. All I know is I don't believe the FBI, and I don't believe Donald Trump, and I don't put it past Donald Trump to try to stir up shit. I mean, what the fuck is his CIA doing? We only talk about his FBI and how inept they are, But the CIA seemed to still be pretty good at what the fuck they doing, because nobody ever talks about them. And as we're gonna see, like, this fucking assassination attempt on Donald Trump, that shit was just fucking out there, man. Another really, really strange shooting.
Insane. He's clearly insane. Yeah. Or not. Or he's professionally insane.
Right.
That's where it gets squirrely.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened, because my antennas went up about, they showed the photo of that kid, or the guy that they have, the 22-year-old, whatever. And I was almost going to be like, dude, do you think he's got the capability to do that?
Yeah, well, listen, there are people that look like that have the capability to do that.
Pretty accurate.
Nope,
No?
not hard. Not hard at all. Let me dispel that. Okay, 200.
Yeah, he's gonna get into. See, I just kind of wanted to just kind of get back on the scene. I'm not trying to watch all of these today. I don't want to be streaming all day. Just gonna get back on the conversation. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream tomorrow. I guess got some things to do, but I might stream tomorrow. Maybe a conversation. I am off tomorrow, but maybe I don't stream at all because I do got stuff to do. But just a lot of strange shit, and even Joe Rogan's talking about it. Like, all of the right wing is pretty much talking about it. Like, as much as they want to point the finger at the left, you know, and they're still willing to do that. Now I don't. There's plenty of them still willing to do that, but a lot of the gun people that's on the right, none of them really trust this shit, and that's. I don't know. You know, I called bullshit like immediately, and then when the gun people are saying this don't add up, the ballistics don't add up, the FBI is saying nonsense. The kid's probably going to get off if he makes it to trial. I don't think the kid is going to make it to trial. I really don't. I really don't. Like I said, there's reporting like they moved him to the SHU, which means it's a special housing unit. But he'll have the amenities that the SHU has. So he'll have a room. He'll probably have razor blades. He'll have sheets. He'll have blankets. He'll have plenty of things to self-harm himself. And I think that's what they want him to do. You know, all the talk about suicide. Who knows what kind of psychological games they're playing on this man. Because I don't think he did it. I don't think he did it. I don't. But again, I don't know shit. I'm just Nakasuchi on a computer in Battle Creek, Michigan, afraid that the ICE Gestapo is going to come for me. So what the fuck do I know? But I don't think he did it. That's just what my gut tells me. All right, what is this? All right, so this is the cover-up of Thomas Crooks. We probably will watch all of this video. A lot of strange shit around this video. And I think I want to really start looking at this shit. Because this is strange, and nobody ever talks about it. And this was the first really strange shooting we've had in what appears to be an era of really strange shootings. Yeah.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over.
What's up,
and
Native?
look
Lord
what
Red
happened
Fang.
to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
So that's one thing that I noticed immediately. Those gunshots are not loud at all. It's almost like dude must have had some kind of suppressor on his rifle. Because those, or maybe it's just an AR-15 doesn't shoot loud. I don't know. I've never shot one. But it sounds like a pellet gun going off is what it sounds like. And then he shot that many times and barely hit fucking anything. Except for the dude that was behind the president.
On July 13th, 2024, a sea of red hats and waving flags filled the rally grounds in Butler, Pennsylvania. President Donald J. Trump stepped onto the stage. The crowd erupted in cheers. Then the unthinkable happened. Shots cracked through the air. One man was killed instantly, others fell wounded, and the president staggered back with blood running down his face. In seconds, the nation was thrown into chaos. The shooter? A 20-year-old named Thomas Matthew Crooks. A quiet, brilliant, seemingly ordinary young man.
No, I'm in Michigan. I'm not sure where I'm going to be at for No Kings 2. I am planning on going for at least a couple hours. Although I'm telling everybody to be safe, man. They're gonna be cracking down. If you commit any violence, they're gonna charge you as a terrorist probably, and they're gonna be trying to instigate you to commit violence. So just be safe, be careful.
Who carried an AR-15 onto a rooftop.
I'll probably be in Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids, one of the two.
Trigger. Within moments, he was dead, silenced by a Secret Service sniper. But how did he get so close in the first place? And how come, over a year later, with the FBI, the Secret Service, and Congress all investigating, we still know nothing? And why is this story being buried? Let's try and find out.
Hello, I'm Mike Droberg, Marine Corps veteran and filmmaker, and we will try to answer these questions on today's episode of Forgotten History.
Yeah, I know the organizers here, so I can go to both. I just haven't decided which one I want. Grand Rapids is a drive. That's usually the better one, and that's probably going to be Grand Rapids, and Detroit's probably going to be where it's at here in Michigan. Kalamazoo is the town right next door, so I'm thinking about going to that one, just because it's a short drive and I believe it's on a day that I work. So I'm only going to be able to do a couple hours, and I'll probably have my kid with me, and so I'm going to have to be even like extra super safe. Haven't decided. Like, I want her to be a part of history, but I don't want to put her at risk, so I haven't decided if she'll be a part of it yet.
Thomas Matthew Crooks was not the profile most people imagine when they hear the word assassin. He wasn't a hardened extremist, a known radical, or a career criminal. He was just 20 years old, from the small suburb of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. On paper, he looked like a success story. A high honors graduate, winner of a math and science award, and a kid with a strong SAT score who enrolled in engineering classes at a community college. Teachers described him as bright. Classmates described Crooks as quiet, awkward, and often bullied. Some said he was the type of kid who kept to himself, didn't fight back, and was an easy target. Crooks was just a dietary aide at a nursing home, working in Bethel Park. He still lived with his parents, Matthew and Mary, both licensed professional social workers. You'd expect empathy, warmth, and emotional guidance from a family built on that career. But inside the Crooks household, neighbors described something else entirely. A house marked by silence, coldness, and distance. Even relatives said it was emotionless, with a father who was strict and detached. Crooks had an older sister, Katie. When she left, Thomas quietly...
Yeah, so I mean, seems like a weird kid that was raised in a weird situation. But everything about this shooting is just weird, man. Everything about it. Nothing is legit. Nothing seems right. You're gonna see, like, you're gonna be like, that can't be true. 'Cause I was like that. Like, none of this shit makes sense.
Helped her move her belongings. A rare glimpse of normal sibling interaction. But afterward, the house only grew more reclusive. The most haunting detail came at a family funeral in 2019. Relatives recall Thomas and Katie standing like statues, showing no emotion as their grandfather was laid to rest. When it was over, the family pulled away from extended relatives altogether. One cousin remembered being told bluntly, "You'll never see us again." This is the paradox at the heart of the Crooks story. His family were trained to help strangers through grief and trauma, yet their own home was defined by repression and silence. And inside that silence grew a brilliant, lonely young man who would climb a rooftop with a rifle and try to assassinate the President of the United States. On July 13, 2024, in Butler, Pennsylvania, thousands of supporters gathered for a campaign rally with President Trump. But long before the president walked out, the threat had already been...
I always hate those "don't tread on me" flags. Like now when I see them in this... I've always hated them because there was an undercurrent of racism to it. But I always hated them because it's like that Second Amendment message, like "don't tread on me, I'll tread on you." But that's not what it really is. We've seen now what it really is. Don't tread on me, but tread on thee, is what that flag really means. And we see that clear as day in Trump's America.
Spotted. Crooks first launched the drone near the rally grounds. Local police noted it, but let it go. At 4:26 p.m., a Pennsylvania State Police countersniper stationed near the AGR warehouse saw Crooks lingering suspiciously. He reported it through the channels, but no one pressed the alarm.
All right, so the former president of the United States, currently running to be president again with the Secret Service detail, see this strange kid lurking about. They report it, but nobody does anything about it. Like, what the fuck? We've all seen the movies. Like, that motherfucker should have been got right then and there. Right then and there. Like, should have snatched him up. What the fuck you doing? Why you here? What the fuck you doing? Nope.
By 5:14 p.m., Crooks was photographed using a rangefinder near the security perimeter. The image was circulated among the Pennsylvania State Police, Butler County officers, and the Secret Service's Pittsburgh field office. Officers began searching.
So again, like a half hour later, they see him doing weird shit again. I don't even know what that fucking device is, but something. And so, like, everybody's talking about this kid, and nobody's doing anything about it. The President of the United States, former, gonna be president again, is gonna be there, and they're not doing anything about it? Okay.
Searching for him, but Crooks slipped away into a wooded area. At 5:52 p.m., Secret Service agents assigned to a rooftop security spotted him on top of the AGR warehouse. Local police tried to climb up to confront him, but Crooks pointed his rifle in their direction, forcing them back. Why wasn't Crooks taken out by snipers at this point? Well, according to congressional testimony, the Secret Service had to figure out if the person was seen as armed or hostile before taking action, and at times, Crooks disappeared behind the sloped roofline, obstructing the sniper's view. By 6:06...
So he's up on the roof with a gun, and they don't take him out. What the fuck? Again, it's not normal. This isn't normal. And if it's not normal, if it's abnormal, there's a reason for it. What's the reason? Why do these abnormalities keep happening in Trump's America? I don't know.
p.m., Crooks had maneuvered across the connected rooftops into a clear firing position overlooking the rally stage. Minutes later, at 6:11 p.m., he opened fire.
Chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
How did the president get on stage? Why would they tell the president to get on stage with a person that has a gun on the roof? Why hasn't the president been evacuated? Why is he on that stage? It's not normal. It's like they wanted it to happen.
The first bullet grazed President Trump's ear. A second killed firefighter Corey Compertori as he shielded his family. 2 more men were critically wounded as chaos ripped through the crowd.
I don't agree with Destiny. Like, that man didn't deserve to die. You know, these people, a lot of them, they don't know they're fascists. They don't, you know. A lot of them should know better, but they don't deserve to die because they go to a political rally. How in the fuck do you allow that to happen? There should be no way that happened. There should be no way that this is the facts of the case that nobody talks about. Nobody ever talks about it unless it's to, like, he pointed the finger at the left. Like, I don't even think we know this dude was on the left. I think he was a right winger. Or no, he was just like apolitical that wanted to take out Joe Biden or Donald Trump. I don't know. But again, that's another weirdness of it. That silence around these shootings about this shooter. Again, you know, parents portrayed, rightfully so or not, to be very quiet people, solitary, don't talk to nobody. Maybe there are people like that. But again, an oddity for a situation like this. Usually your son tries to kill the president, gets murked in the fucking process. I don't know, you might have something to say about that. You might want to say, hey, we didn't raise him to murk the president. You know, like, what the fuck? Silence. Has anybody ever looked at their bank accounts? I'm just saying. None of it makes any fucking sense.
Only then did a Secret Service counter-sniper fire back, killing Crooks instantly. The rooftop was silent, but the failure was deafening, because Crooks had been flagged by nearly every agency on site, the local police, state police, federal agents, and yet still managed to pull the trigger on the President of the United States. In the hours after the shooting, FBI agents swarmed the Crooks family home in Bethel Park. What they found inside turned the mystery darker. Crooks' bedroom wasn't just a student's space. It was a workshop for destruction. Agents discovered explosives, bomb-making chemicals, and improvised devices. He had ordered volatile compounds online, stockpiled gear, and experimented in private. This wasn't random, it was planned. But the most compelling evidence came from his electronics. Investigators seized multiple cell phones, a laptop, USB drives, and hard drives. Within 40 minutes of the attack, the FBI had already decrypted his primary phone. What they uncovered were thousands of images and searches, everything from live screenshots of the rally grounds minutes before the shooting to endless queries about political figures, assassinations, mass shooters, and even mental health. They found encrypted messaging apps tied to servers overseas, apps that investigators are still trying to penetrate. But even with that digital trail, Crooks left no manifesto, no letter, no video, no single statement of motive. Then came the rumors. Whispers online claimed he had offshore bank accounts in Germany, Belgium, even New Zealand. Congressional members repeated it. Headlines amplified it. But when pressed, the FBI confirmed there was no evidence of foreign accounts at all. The story was smoke, not fire. Yet it clouded the truth even further.
So no George Soros behind the attack. And I think, once again, we're finding a very convenient trail for them. But, again, it doesn't matter. He's dead. And none of this shit adds up. Why the fuck? Why the fuck would they let the president go on that stage with that kid under suspicion for that long? With that kid on the roof? How in the fuck was the president not... If the president was on stage when the first time he pointed the gun at the authorities, how was the president not rushed off the stage? If the president wasn't on the stage at that point, how was he allowed on it? Doesn't make any sense. It's just weird. It's like Governor Walz said, they're just weird. Just weird shit. And this is the last thing for the day. Because even Marjorie Taylor Greene seems scared shitless of this president. She's not saying the president. She's saying the right things about the president still. But she's making it pretty fucking clear that she ain't, gonna commit suicide anytime. That she's not gonna come off, asking for the Epstein files. And she's not gonna have a heart attack. Let's check this shit out.
Happy Sunday, I guess, unless you're Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's afraid that Donald Trump is trying to kill her. These people. Hey, if you're not subscribed already to this show, please do. It's free to subscribe. You can click subscribe on YouTube or go over to Facebook and like and follow the Dollar Daily over there. I would appreciate it very much. Let me read this headline to you from the Daily Beast. Marjorie Taylor Greene whips conspiracy theorists into frenzy. Quote, "I'm not suicidal." The MAGA firebrand asked her supporters to play detective and figure out which, quote unquote, power.
Neither am I, by the way. I'm not suicidal. Release the Epstein files. Not planning on killing myself. Don't plan on dying anytime soon. Not planning on disappearing off to Costa Rica. If I disappear, it's ICE. It's the FBI. It's somebody saying, stop talking about the president. You domestic terrorist.
Powerful people might want to silence her for good. Got a couple of tweets here from Marjorie Taylor Greene. But let me say, it's one of those deals where she's almost there. She's almost gotten there. She wants to claim that she's a protector, a defender, someone with righteous indignation about pedophilia and pedophiles and child rape and child trafficking. Yet she has aligned herself with Donald Trump, whose name is listed among some of the worst in the Epstein files, dozens, maybe hundreds of times. We don't know because they won't release the files. And she's saying, if I die, I'm not suicidal, but there might be foreign influences that would have me killed, or the very...
Yeah, she, Israel's gonna do it. Maybe... I don't know her stance on Russia. Is she a Russia lover? Probably. She's MAGA. But, we all know, what she's really saying. She knows. She knows who the threat is. And she's saying, I'm not going to stop. Whatever we think about Marjorie here, and I've had my fun with her over the years, chick be sticking to her guns no matter what. Donald Trump I don't see Donald Trump moving her. Boebert, I can see. Nancy Mace, I can see. I don't think Donald Trump moving her. Got to give her props on that shit. Despite the anti-Semitic bullshit that we know, she definitely has.
Very powerful people. She never names Donald Trump. She never gets quite there. It's all very on the nose for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let me read 3 paragraphs from this, 2.5 actually, and then I'm going to get to her tweets, which are really, as you would expect, batshit bananas crazy. Marjorie Taylor Greene unsettled her supporters on Saturday after posting a message to her personal Twitter account clarifying that she's, quote, not suicidal. The seemingly out-of-nowhere declaration came just 12 minutes after the Georgia congresswoman posted a long message to her official Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene Twitter account in which she doubled down on her demands for the Jeffrey Epstein files to be released. as fellow Republicans made an 11th hour bid to prevent a House vote on the issue.
Republican Party, protector of PDF files. You know, them family values they talk about are probably not the family values you need. Just saying. They protect pedophiles.
I'm going to circle back to that. The typically MAGA-aligned lawmaker is notably one of only 4 Republican House members who has signed onto the discharge petition, which she fears could put her in danger, and is what the follow-up post was about. We'll get to that, but really quickly, why are Republicans fighting so hard to keep the Epstein files from being released? Donald Trump claims there's nothing to see here. Maybe he just means by that, there's nothing for you to see here. We're not going to let you see it, so there's nothing to see. But why would they're threatening other members of the House of Representatives, other Republicans. They're threatening to remove them from their committee assignments. They're making physical threats against other Republicans in order that they won't vote to have the Epstein file.
Yeah, like, Republicans just need to grow a fucking pair, because, like, everybody reports that Republicans in Washington fucking hate Donald Trump. They hate his administration. They hate what they say he forces them to do, and he don't force them to do shit. They're just cowardly. They have no balls. But they all fucking hate him. Just grow a fucking pair and impeach this dude. And then if J.D. Vance thinks he's going to come in pulling the same shit, you do it again. Until they release the fucking Epstein files. And then we can prosecute everybody involved with fucking kids and covering it up. No matter the party. No matter the amounts of money, no matter the fame, no matter how much we might love these people, that they've been in our homes, on our TVs, all our fucking lives, none of that shit matters. None of it. None of it. These are kid fuckers. We need to find them, and we need to remove them from society. Period. End of discussion. And until they're willing to do so, grow a fucking pair and impeach this fucking PDF file. Because it's the only reason he has. Anybody else would be like, yeah, fuck these people. It's the only reason he's saying, well, you know, the 90s, it was just different times back then. You know, we were doing a lot of cocaine. We were fucking a lot of bitches. You know, some of them, like 11. No, that wasn't normal back in the 90s, bro. That wasn't normal back in the 90s. Might have been normal to you, but not to moral, decent human beings. These fuckers gotta go. And if you hate this motherfucker so much, you have the power. That's why we have you in our government. So you can stop this motherfucker. But you're weak and fickle. And part of you just relishes on the pain of others. So you can enrich yourselves and grow fat in your deceit. And the problem of evil in this world is that these motherfuckers usually get away with it. Good people, moral people, we have to struggle to live. Life isn't easy for us because we're not willing to do the things that would make it easy for us. And that's the fact of the fucking world, man. Doesn't get any more truer than that. I don't give a fuck how fake of a lefty you are. If you're a fucking billionaire, if you're a wealth hoarder, you're an immoral fucking person that did a lot of immoral shit to get there. Just how I feel about it. And if you're cool with kid fuckers getting away with it, well, me and you are not the same. Because I don't care who you think you are. You don't get to fuck children. I'm pretty adamant about that kind of thing. Go ask Smokey Saint. I mean, fuck. I've been pretty consistent with that from the first time I started streaming. I've always talked about this issue, even though people didn't fucking watch it. Even when I was at my most popular, when the channel was growing and people were actually watching me, they wouldn't watch that shit. But it didn't stop me from talking about it. I have always been consistent on this. If you take advantage of your power dynamic to harm innocent people, you need to be punished. How did Sean Spicer say it? Period. Enough said. I can't remember how he said it.
Was released. What's in there that they're so afraid of? I don't know, but here's the tweet. 11:15 a.m. yesterday. I am not suicidal, she starts it out, and one of the happiest, healthiest people you will meet. I have full faith in God, and Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. As a sinner, I am only saved through his grace and mercy. With that said, that's not like a caveat. Why did you need to go through all of that? Is this like your last rites, Marge? With that said, if something happens to me, I ask you all to find out which foreign government or powerful people would take heinous actions to stop the information from coming out. Not about this issue, but because of the truth that I have been speaking. What? The people understand what I'm saying. She's indicating without indicating it. She's saying it without saying it. That she fears what powerful people would want her silent over her wanting the Jeffrey Epstein files released. What foreign people? You're talking about Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And this tweet came just minutes, as explained by the Daily Beast. I'm not going to read the entire droning nonsense, but this is what she said. The follow-up, like, oh shit, maybe I better cover myself, let people know I don't want to kill myself in case I end up getting Vladimir Putin and tossed out a window. A lot of people with bad balance in Russia, you know. To be clear, she said, to set the record straight on my support for the Massey Epstein discharge petition, I stand with girls and women who are sexually abused and raped. Period. Every time. At all times, she says. For me, it's not about a pissing contest between political parties or political enemies. The Epstein rape and pedophile network must be exposed, says the woman who stands in support of a man who's listed dozens, if not hundreds of times.
Yeah, it does seem, but she knows that, and she's saying it without saying it. So I'm going to be a little more graceful than homeboy here. Like, she's saying it without saying it. Like, she knows that. She knows who she's speaking to. So, I mean, a little decent news to end the day with. And so far as I know, Nancy Mace and Boebert are staying strong. I don't see Massey flipping, right? Now, Mike Johnson isn't going to swear this new congresswoman in. He needs to be held to account for that. And what are they also scared for? Why is Mike Johnson, who's supposed to be this fundamental Christian, why is he protecting pedophiles because Donald Trump tells him to? I mean, these Republicans are pussies. They're all pussies. They're bitches. They're what they called us all those years. They're snowflakes. They're worse than snowflakes. They're dandruff flakes that Donald Trump swipes off his shoulder as if they were nothing. Because they're not even real dandruff flakes. They're toupee flakes. Pathetic. Pathetic. And I'm not afraid. Like, if they do come for us, let them. We will defeat them in court. then we will sue the fuck out of these motherfuckers. You know, fuck, they're bankrupt in America, so we might as well take our cut before there's nothing left. It's kind of the way I look at it. Like, if the worst happens, you know, you just gotta have faith, man. You know, that what they're doing is wrong. Because it is wrong. There's no law behind it. There's no... I mean, and this, like, Clarence Thomas coming out pretty much saying, like, the Supreme Court ready to go full ahead, you know, and go against settled precedent law. So gay marriage is going to be up on the docket. Civil rights is going to be up on the docket. Like, these people truly are wanting to implement a Gilead. If you don't know what a Gilead is, it's Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale. Gilead is the country that they made in the rubble of America. As they came for your women, as they prosecuted gay people, as they persecuted black people. And I think Margaret Atwood always considered herself somewhat as a, I don't know, fortune teller. Like, she always knew that this was a possibility. Like, it was more than just a story. Because the signs were there. I've been pointing out the signs on this channel for 8 years now. I mean, I'll take you to my channel. I'll show you. Because I've been talking about it for so long. We'll go down to the very bottom. It's right down here somewhere. Let me find it. So all this shit right here. The evangelical rapist. Quiverful movement. Dude raped his own daughters. Had like 18 kids. Raped his own daughters. Right there. One of the first videos I ever made. The 12 Tribes cult. This cult spreads all across the country. And they're known for going to music festivals. Like hippie music festivals. New age hippie music festivals. They're gonna give you some water. Don't drink the water. Don't drink the water. You'll wake up in a cult. The Quiverful movement, religious purity or child indoctrination, I think is the title. Like, I've been covering this shit. The indoctrination of Catherine Groves. This is one of my favorite fucking videos I ever made. One of the most important videos I ever made. This fucking poor girl here. Oh my fucking God, y'all. Oh my fucking God. Like, you just watch her for a minute. Let's just watch her for a minute. Well, we won't even watch the douchebag. I just want you to watch her for a minute. Let me get to it. Just this poor girl. Up and disappears from her house. Nobody knows what happens. Her parents find her like a year later in this little town called Wells, Texas. In this little church of these really, really evil fucking people, man. And she's drugged.
I
and she's not there.
Have not dealt well with and I should deal with it well.
That's the first little bit from Catherine. Like, man, it's just like it's the damage that this shit does to people. And now the damage that this shit is doing to the country. Like, I've been calling this and talking about this for 8 years now. On this channel. Saying that this shit was gonna happen. Motherfuckers telling me I'm crazy. But here we are. Talking about the Quiverful movement and how these fundamental religious groups have been infiltrating government and pop culture for decades. You know, you got to have your quiver full, so you got to have 18, 20 little soldiers for Christ popping out of your wife. Non-stop childbirth. Can you imagine that? That's like the second worst pain a human can experience, childbirth. Although I'm pretty sure, like, the more children you have, the more dangerous it becomes for the woman. And then trying to deal with all those fucking kids, man. And then not just deal with them, indoctrinate them. And that starts as babies. When they're fucking babies, they call it blanket therapy. And they're on their blankets. And you wiggle some shiny keys. You know, baby's going to want the shiny. And you wiggle it, and you let them take it. And you let them play with it. And then you wiggle it. And then you put it off to the side. And every time that baby goes for that fucking shiny set of keys, you smack that fucking baby. And you do it until they learn that they don't go for those keys or that toy. Raise your kids like the pearls. How to train up your kid. Train them like dogs. With the rod, just like the Bible says. Like, this shit has been going on for so fucking long, man. To where now we're here in Trump's America. American Christian nationalism. Christian fascism. It's alive and well for all to see. That dude Nakasuchi, even though he was drunk a lot, he was fucking right, man. I was right. I was right. All those years. Dealing with the Matt Powells of the world, Smokey Saints. I was right. And now we're here. And now maybe we can actually start looking at this shit, because freedom of religion is bullshit. Right now they're trying to come after us, those that have no religion. Do we not have that same freedom to not have religion? You want to brand us terrorists? You want to make us the enemy? You're the enemy. Christians. Not all of them. Not all of them are that. But a lot more than anybody ever thought. And a lot of them have a lot of money. And they have worked their ways into very powerful positions in this country. And now they're on the brink of taking it all over. Just like I said all them years ago. Just like I said all them years ago. What do I know? I'm just a dude on his computer in Battle Creek, Michigan, talking shit. The earth is flat, bitches!
Grove on